Hi, my name is Greg Boyce, and I am a concerned citizen. For a while now, I've been worried that we were approaching an economic collapse. Uh, so, some specific details I've come to discover or come to learn about. Uh, Corporate debt, as of a few years ago, had reached $9 trillion. After that, it is at least 10 trillion now. I don't know what the total is. There was warnings before even the Trump presidency about the looming uh, bubble of corporate debt, which has the potential to pop and cause as big of a problem or bigger than the crash 10 years ago that took out the housing market. There's articles about this. You can find information online about it. Since then, uh, the deficit had been, the debt had been quite high after Obama with the bailout of essentially a gift of a large amount of money to very wealthy people in order to keep the ball rolling on an economy that collapsed for very good reasons. It was bound to collapse. Forcing a recovery was just ended up being a giveaway of cash. The book Homewreckers goes into great detail on this. So there's warnings about this potential corporate debt crash. However, we are in a much weaker position now as a government, now that the debt is over $20 trillion and the existing deficit is $1 trillion a year. With all the tax cuts, we are operating in a massive deficit right now. It's unbelievably high of a deficit. So when the corporate debt bubble bursts, the government is not going to be in a position to bail them out. Although I do believe Trump would try. We are in a crash right now. As I'm talking, there is speculation that the opening is going to be incredibly negative, and I believe that is likely to be the case. But separate from that, it's just, he has been artificially inflating the market in addition to companies having been getting successfully greedier, or at least individuals, who have the majority of the money and are demanding an ever-increasing return are putting us in an untenable position to begin with. So the thing is that it feels as though a crash is inevitable. I don't know if this current thing is it. We might recover. I don't know. But we are in an unsustainable position as an economy, as a country. So I have no faith in the election anymore. I've been trying to Yeah, yeah. I've been trying to push people, trying to tell them that we need to make impeachment matter. That is the only way Trump's going to be removed, because he is effectively using the fascist playbook, and by that I'm referring to Mussolini more than Hitler. But the point is, Mussolini's government specifically was very corporatist. So in there it was more guild related, but basically all the people with money got together and had control, which is very much what we're having here. I mean, Gary Cohn, the president of Goldman Sachs, was allowed to write tax policy that benefits the rich. Steve Mnuchin and Wilbur Ross are both in the administration. These were two people that made billions of dollars off of government subsidies and taking people's homes after the economic crisis. These are the types of people that we've put in charge. Now, the Republicans are very unified behind him. I mean, only Mitt Romney actually honored his oath to the Constitution. They're not. These aren't people that are playing fair. Mitch McConnell is blocking election reform bills while Trump is actively soliciting foreign interference live on television. And after the GOP violates their oath to protect the Constitution, like they said they would, the American people didn't stand up in nearly enough numbers to actually make matters. I'm talking to people on a daily basis, and what I get told by people is that we need to beat them in November. We need to beat them in November. They're cheating in the election. Either way, this is off topic. I wanted to talk more about the economic collapse. So I've been trying to figure out a strategy for taking back economic power from the rich. And I think it might be our safety net for when a crash eventually does come. Essentially, it looks very much like the internet does right now in terms of commerce, right? You have your Amazon, you have your Ubers, you have all of these services, except I want to focus locally and using open source software. So take the power away. So I should start there. So I come from a background of open source software where you build the tools and then you provide them for free, right? And you can make money doing support, and you can make money running the service if it is a service-based thing. There's all sorts of different ways to make money developing open source software, but the point is that at the end of the day, the functionality all is freely available to anyone who wants to use it. And in a lot of ways, this was paid for by today's current rich people, because their companies are funding these projects in a lot of cases, because it is cheaper for them to collaborate than on the tools than it would be to build their own from scratch, which makes perfect sense. Except, people are getting massively wealthy off of these tools that so they take this open source foundation and they build something on top that they can make money off of. Well, my goal is to focus on making that piece open source as well, and I see a way to do that by running local focused services. So imagine ordering from a new site instead of Amazon, which connects you with all of the local retailers, all the local manufacturers. So you can make buying local easy to do. Also local-based social networks, so you can actually have a little online community that is separate. There are existing open source tools for this. I want to make them easier to use, have a better mobile experience in development right now. So that's my goal. If you in this sort of scenario, you'd be able to buy from this site, from the local run shop down across town, and have it delivered by someone in town who's been vetted by a local service, rather than having this global Uber type company. So as a project, this is something I've been self-funding. It's still a ways off. However, things are looking kind of dire out there, and I was hoping some people might want to collaborate with me. I might be able to pay a few people, but I don't have that much money for this right now. I need to wait until I'm hoping that the Friendica app, which eventually will have diaspora support. These are two of the open source peer-to-peer social networks. I have apps in development for iOS and Android. Once those are ready, I'm hoping that'll start bringing in some revenue that I can use to fund some of these other things. But since time is an issue, I would love to work with other people. We can make something work for us. I'm all about mutually beneficial. My goal is to automate management and remove the need for big investors, because they've taken all the money, they're not going to give it back. It's stone soup time. We're going to work together. And I see ways to make that work. And I would love your help. So hit me up. Thanks.